Welcome back, Hive Scummers. Today I'm going to talk about something I was really inspired about when I saw it on Instagram. And it's an account I've found recently called Hive Market Minis, and I wish I found it sooner. So, as my current Necromunda campaign is coming to an end, I feel like I have to retire the Goliath, because both of the campaigns I've played so far locally, Goliath has kicked some serious butt, and I'm not making any friends with it. That's not what it should be about. So, well, for me anyway, I like to have a positive play experience. Some of these people in the campaign I've known for a while, and I don't want to lose them as friends. I don't think I would, in all honesty, but I would like to start a new gang. I'm not necessarily going to go for an underdog, but I want those kind of vibes, because if I get absolutely smashed in this campaign, at least they're not going to say that I'm playing OP and broken things. So I wanted to go with something a little bit weird, wonderful, and different. I have lots of civilians that I have customised over the last year, 2 years. I've been into Necromunda, probably 2 years now. Slowly drip feeding and then fully submerging myself in the last year into Necromunda, at least, anyway. So I like the weird and wonderful models that you can get as the normal civilians in Necromunda. So you don't see them enough in games, I don't think. So if you're playing a game, caravan raid, anything, regular missions, I can't think of any particular missions at the moment, but put civilians in there. It's supposed to be thousands of people crawling around in these hives, shoulder to shoulder sometimes. The markets are bustling. You know, there's people that are diseased, pox-ridden. They're certainly not clean individuals in the lower echelons of the hives, and I like that. I like the scummy look of the regular Joes. So I've been making a few anyway for our games, dropping them in, so if you miss a shot, maybe hits a random civilian, upsets a civilian uprising, brawls, bar brawls, things like that, spill out into the streets. So I've been converting models for a while, and obviously the high scum box is brilliant, and I've been using poxwalkers and things like that. So they're great and everything, but sometimes you lack inspiration. So I have found this account, Hive Market Minis, and they're doing Scumathon 2024, and I've been told it will return 2025. You didn't see that coming, did you? This account is amazing. It really, really is. I will show you the clip that I saw, probably too late, and it is over now. High Scum officially is over, but it doesn't mean you cannot be inspired. It doesn't mean you can't keep plugging away just because his personal competition has ended. But please hashtag Scumathon whenever you do some scum kitbashing. Hopefully this inspires you as much as it has inspired me. So that was the basic requirements for this competition. I, of course, I entered probably too late. It was in the last few days. But I wasn't too worried about the competition itself. I just love the inspiration. So many tags over the last couple of weeks have linked me to other people's pages. I just love the Scumathon tag. It's funny, and the amount of people that have started following my account, I've been following their accounts. It's not the fact that I want to boost my account, it's the fact that I'm so inspired by other people's work. It's fantastic. I really like Necromunda. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's some weird and wonderful conversions out there. I haven't copied anybody's, but I've definitely been inspired by a lot. Some weird and wonderful things. Obviously, the great Carl Johnson has said before, any model is a Necromunda model. But it's so true. You think of, well, just go GW alone. You think Curse City, Warcry, AOS, and any of the fantasy things can be easily converted to sci-fi. I mean, case and point. Let's check out the rest of the account. So we have got this guy. Now this guy is from the Crimson Court, so you can use it in, I think it was originally Underworlds. It was one of the vampire accounts. Such a simple conversion. Looks like there's something on his hip, so maybe like a gun holster or something, and he's just changed the tip of the weapon. That is a simple conversion, but it's such a great model. It really is. Now, I've always been a big fan of 40k, but I have to admit, the AOS models are probably better. I shouldn't say that, but probably better. So look at this one alone. So I can see that is from a Moor tribe, from AOS. Even though I don't play AOS, that's got to be AOS. That guy is a flipping beast. Look at the size of him. And then you got Votan, which is fairly common in 40k. Just a couple weapon swaps. This Ratling is one of, is it Rain or Rouse from Blackstone Fortress, which is a squat, or halfling, sorry, I do apologise, halfling. Simple weapon swap. In fact, I might not even swap weapons, I might just bung them directly in. I basically just cut the bases off a model and put a Zone Mortalis base on and go from there. But that looks like there's a Beastmen head on that guy, which there is obviously a couple of Beastmen, I think, in Necromunda. The Half Horn, I think, is a Beastman, if memory serves. That looks like an Orc weapon there, possibly, on that Minotaur looking guy. Yeah, it just, even if that specific model there was a standard model, you could easily cut that weapon off and put a pistol of any kind, like an auto pistol. Just so easy to convert. That there, I think, is that a, that's a plasma pistol, but for a second there I thought it was a Goliath plasma pistol. But those conversions alone are absolute boss. And I was massively inspired because I've done a couple of videos on Chaos Spawn. I love me a Chaos Spawn. I've got quite a few of them. I think I've got 6, and I've used none of them in any of my games so far, which is about right for me, because I really had to convert them. I needed to do them. I just felt like I had to, and then never use them, which is about right. But my current gang is going to be a Chaos Helot gang, and they're going to be mutants as well. So Marcus, who is our arbitrator, our games master for our current campaign, he's basically made it on Yak Tribe so I can have mutant Chaos Helots, because they get mutations when they are injured anyway, Chaos Helots, so why not have a double lot of mutation therapy? So mutants from the start, and then they get even more mutated, and they can potentially be turned into Chaos Spawn if the Dark Ritual goes wrong. So, I mean, that model alone is definitely based on a Chaos Spawn. You can see that the main core of him is a Chaos Spawn. I think that's Chaos Spawn, arm. Not sure where that one's come from. But you can see there's a little nurgling bursting from his entrails there. And that looks like a corpse grinder head there, I think, as well. But some simple conversions, even just a head swap or cutting a belly out or something like that, really, really pushes that model to the next level. Yeah, so some great conversions in the past as well. Look at that. So I have done a couple of Ogrins recently, but that is just a nice conversion. Obviously a green stuff roller was used there for some green stuff, making some pipes. Because like him, I also like that face, that mask, just looks wicked. So a couple of little swaps there. Shoulder pads. I mean, those arms look biff anyway, but look at that tiny little skinny arm. That's very Necromunda. You've got a tiny little mutated arm and a hoofing great power fist. So this is Hive Market Minis. I could shout out to everybody that's entered in Scumathon, but A, I'll be there for a long time, and B, it's only fair if I credit each and every one of them, and that could take a long time. So Hive Market Minis, please check out that account. It's a fantastic account to get your inspiration juices going. Yeah, and I'll show you what I have done recently thanks to this account. So whenever you build a gang in Necromunda, especially in Yak Tribe, I generally start with a leader. And I really wanted my leader to be pretty damn mutated, because he's a leader of a mutant chaos gang. He's got to be surely one of the most mutated. Now, you could easily do a big bulking guy, massive muscles tearing open with extra appendages and things like that. But I've just been playing Goliath and I wanted a slightly different kind of feel. So, being a child of the 80s, I used to love He-Man. Sorry, used to. I still love He-Man. And I used to like the guy that had eyes for stalks. Or stalk eyes. Not hawk eyes, stalk eyes. Love the model. Still got the toy somewhere in my attic because I'm a child. And I had a load of bits in my bits box for like Chaos Spawn bits. I've done a video recently on what you could use the new possessed Chaos Cultist models for, which I'll get to in a second. So I had loads of little bits left over, cutting bits off here and there. So these two eyes are actually from, if I can zoom in slightly, from a Chaos Spawn model. So you probably think I've got 6 eyes in the kit, something like that. But I've picked up a few kits in the past, so it's easy for me to get confused with what I have or haven't got. So that was my first conversion. Had a cool head left over from World Eater Jackals. I just swapped these, drilled 2 holes, made some eye stalks, and then stuck these eyes on. Now the eyes are actually bigger than his normal eyes, but I wanted them to be a bit crazy and stand outish. So the gun and arms are from a Scumathon model, and I used the core of the model on a Gene Stealer cult model. Cut off the flap between his legs, for want of a better word, and I've put a Chaos Space Marine like champion. It's not chainmail, it's like leather straps with skulls and chains hanging off, because I thought it needs to be a bit chaosy. So I've put that there, that cloth tabard, I'm not sure what you want to call it, between his legs. And then I've put, I think it was an orc shoulder pad. I've just converted slightly just so it can fit on him. So he's WYSIWYG. He is armed with a long rifle, and I thought that would be a pretty cool long rifle. A bit more relic looking than the standard a long rifle that you could get. It's Necromunda. There's no standard template for any weapon, be it a bolt gun, be it a auto pistol. They're all different, and that's what I love. If you pick up a box of, I just so happen to have a box of accessories and weapons. So you pick up these, and they're all different. So you see that melted gun there. That looks quite Orlocky, but you might find Goliath would be slightly different. Same with that bolt gun. That ammo looks a bit more different than maybe a Goliath one. The flamer, you know, it looks like a cleaner pattern, a cleaner build than, let's say, a Corridor one. A Corridor one would probably have bandages over it. Looks like it's falling to bits. An Escher one could be a bit sleeker. So all the weapons in Necromunda, they don't have a standard pattern to it. Don't have a standard template. This is what I liked for this guy. So my theme of, obviously they're all going to be mutated, but they're all supposed to be like ladies and gentlemen, you know, which is a bit weird because I wanted them to have top hats, and even though they're maggoty and mutated and outcasts, I want them to have traditional Old English names. So I have Agatha, this guy's called Heston. That's basically my theme for the names, because I always have a theme for the names. I can't just pick a random name. And like my last gang, my Goliath gang, were all Marines from the film Aliens, and that spilled over into the Predator universe because I had extra models. But that's just me. Just a bit weird like that, I guess. But it keeps within keeping for the whole gang. So that's my leader. That was Heston. The eye stalks I got from inspiration from, like I said, He-Man way back when. But then I found this account and I thought some of these conversions are absolutely boss. So I needed a witch. That's my second pick for the gang. So I went for Agatha. So this is from Blackstone Fortress. Not much conversion here, apart from Agatha is a lady, and that horrible ugly face could be female, I suppose, if you're that mutated. So I just used a bit of green stuff to change the breastplate of her, change her breastplate so it looks more female, looks more feminine. So not much in the way of conversion here, apart from when you pick their mutation, I picked Scaly, because I wanted her to have a 4+ save. So I shaped a tail from a Chaos Spawn, not tentacle, but kind of like a blade growing out the back, and stuck it between her legs, attaching it to her bum. So now she has a scaly tail. So small conversion, just changing the chest plate to make her look more feminine, and sticking a tail in the back. So then after you have your leader, you have your witch, you can have a champion. So my champion is not converted, it's just a Chaos cult model from, I think it was from Blackstone, but they're the newer cult models, the ones that look more Slaneshi, I would say. So more slender, certainly not Nurgle based, certainly not Corn based. So haven't modified it yet, but there you go, that's just my model. I'm going to make her, she's called Joyce, make her mutated at some stage. That's the thing, they can have mutations, so you can buy them straight out the gate. But only the gangers only are allowed one mutation. Of course, as the leaders progress, they can buy more mutations later on. I think it's a maximum of 3. So then I go to my standard models, and what do I have as standard gangers? I could use more Chaos Cult models, I suppose, but I want them to be ragtag. I want them to be outcast, like I said. So I have a Poxwalker here. So was a Poxwalker, and I had some gas grenades left over from my previous campaign that I was allowed to have. Apparently, that was one of the benefits that the Goliath gave me as a player. So I'm going to say those frag grenades there on the chain are gas grenades, and I thought a gas mask would look pretty cool. So cut the head off, a little bit of green stuff around the neck, cut the arm off, and gave this guy a hand flamer, because I know it's a bit more expensive, but I just thought one hand flamer in a gang, not too broken, and with the spines that I cut off previously, I stuck one on the side of the arm there. So a fairly simple conversion. Head swap, arm swap, and stick the spike back on. Speaking of simple conversions, this is a model from World Eaters, the Jackals. So she normally got 2 chain axes, so what I've done is cut one of the chain axes off, had her still in her running pose, and gave her a little las pistol, because I do want some close combat, even though I'm not terribly good at close combat. And I thought the arm, weirdly, one arm is a bit skinny because it's outstretched, and the other arm is fairly chunky for a slender woman. So I just bit of green stuff on the arm to bulk it up a bit. So simple arm conversion, I guess, and weapon swap there. And talking about simple swaps and the Chaos Possessed Cultists. This is a Chaos Possessed Cultist, and I wanted a shotgun because I just think the shotguns are cool, and that's a simple arm swap again. So just cut it off. Looks like he's holding it while he's, say, running. I'm more likely to say shambling because he is so messed up. See, it's a great model, great pose. He certainly is not the average human. Well, maybe in Necromunda, but certainly not on our planet at our time. So, I did use another Chaos Cult model. And you can have a rule for a model with 2 heads. So I was thinking 2 heads on stalks. No, maybe it looks too much like my leader. So just mash 2 heads together with a bit of plastic glue so they melt in the middle. Because I was a bit of a fan of the old Hellraiser films. So I remember there was a scene when this guy get his head mashed together. So I thought 2 heads like that would be pretty cool. 2 auto pistols from Delac. Thank you, Delac. The arms, once again, from Chaos Cultist. The shoulder was from an Orlock. 1 shoulder pad. That looked pretty cool. And this model didn't have any legs because he was a gunner out of a hatch. So I gave him some Poxwalker legs. Plus the Gene Stealer Coat legs look a bit too clean. So this guy's got some pretty battered boots and some bandages. I thought it'd be pretty cool. The thing I was most proud about is something you probably won't even notice, and no one really cares about, is the skull hanging from the chain on the belt. Because previously, Chaos Cult member would have a cult symbol hanging from that chain. So there was a few little conversions there. The guns, the heads, shoulder pad, the chain, and the legs. So there's a few little items on that one. This guy, once again, Poxwalker. Main body. I swapped the arms out and the gun for the Ashwaite's Nomads. The head, I believe, was, I want to say Hive Scum? I'm not entirely sure where the head comes from, so please tell me. I've forgotten already. I have a massive box of heads, arms, legs, and I really liked the fur, like shawl, I guess you would call it. So I did a bit of green stuff around there to blend it in a little bit more. So, slight back modification, head swap, arm swap, gun swap. So making it look slightly pox-ridden. I like that. Nothing should be too clean in my gang, I don't think. Next, simple weapon swap and arm swap again. So I do like my close combat. Not sure I'm ever going to use this guy, but basically I had 2 boxes of the new Cultists for Blackstone, and I thought this model is just wicked. So normally it comes with a flamer. I want to build one with a flamer, and I thought I've always wanted to use this weapon with these arms because that bionic arm set just looks biff. Even if I don't have rules for it, and I just use the 2-handed hammer, I like the piece, so I thought I would stick it on a model that's a bit more beefy. Because if one of the Poxwalkers had those arms on it, it would look massively out of place. But this guy definitely looks like it's about the right scale for him. So a tiny bit of green stuff on the wrist, because he's got quite a big chest on this guy. A little bit of green stuff on the top to fill her in a hole. But simple weapon conversion. I haven't even changed the head direction because I like him looking at the head of the hammer. But he may look too similar to my flamer, so I might have to give him some facial hair. Or cut the hood off or something, but I do like the detail on that. It makes him look a bit more special. And he deserves it. They all deserve it. They have a place. They're shunned from the regular community. So you don't have to do big conversions. So I'm probably halfway through. This guy, once again, Crimson Court model. Just a wicked looking model. And I can have wings on my mutants. So the old Space Marine possessed models do have wings on their packs, which I may use on a model in future. But this model alone just looks cool. So obviously cut the fancy base off from Underworlds, sticking a Necromunda base on, and sticking a good old tactical rock under one's foot, because his feet aren't level. All I've done other than that is given him a holster. And that is it. So any advice what I should do next for this model, because I don't want to ruin it too much or change it too much of fear of ruining it. Weirdly, I have no left-handed gun holsters, or I would have stuck it on that leg, so it looks like he's reaching for the gun because he's got that kind of gunslinger kind of hand ready to go for a draw. But I think what he's going to do is just swap the mace over into his other hand, then pull the gun, because these are real models, right? Real characters, real people. So I might cut off the flamboyant looking gorget, I guess, neck piece, and put just a shoulder pad on there, make him a bit more Necromunda-y. Maybe some tabard or cloth or something hanging between his legs, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a head swap, but I really like the fangs. I like to say that his face is slightly mutated as well. Maybe green stuff his hair differently, or maybe even give him a little wispy beard or something. But that's one small piece I've added to that model, because the model itself is just amazing. Like I said, the fantasy range in Games Workshop is just incredible. So that's all I've done so far in my gang. I do have other conversions that I'm thinking of doing in future. And I'm not going to make my own Chaos Spawn for Necromunda. Like I said, I've made 6 for regular 40k. So all I'm going to do is, from the Possessed Cultist range, in the box they have 3 guys on a very large base, like this. And I thought that would be perfect for my guys if they do turn into Chaos Spawn. So, great kit. Why not? Why mess with something that's already perfect? So, like I said before in the past, my civilians I have made out of poxwalkers and things like that. But in this Scumathon competition, they did specifically say keep it grey. So, don't bother painting the models for this competition. Just worry about converting. And I think that's brilliant, because so many competitions out there are about painting. And a lot of people don't like painting. It's not part of the hobby they're into. They just like converting. And that's fine. That's brilliant. I'm definitely of that side as well. Do love the converting, but I generally do like to paint. So this is one model I couldn't enter in the competition because I've made it previously, and that wouldn't be fair. And I have already painted it. So this was a Poxwalker, and I've just sanded off any of the plague bits, the boils, the pussy bits, cut off the spiky bits as well, and I've cut the centre of the gun out and put a decent barrel in there. So I thought I'm going to use him for my Chaos Gang anyway, because he looks definitely hunched and slightly mutated, but without being full-blown Poxwalker. So that's what I'm going to put in my gang, but of course I couldn't enter it in Scumathon. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. My mad ramblings, as always. and I know I do talk really fast, so hopefully you guys have kept up. Basically, I wanted to show off my models that I could potentially inspire others as I was inspired by in Scumathon 2024. Hive Market Minis, obviously I've asked permission to share the miniatures on that account. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Scumathon 2025, and I really hope the Scumathon tag continues. So if you do any conversions, keep it grey, keep it plastic, and just tag Scumathon, drop the 2024, and hopefully more people see it, they'll be inspired, and keep that ball rolling. That's why I love this community. So from me and my gang, hopefully see you in the next video. Stay safe, you wonderful people.